Do you want to strike your irons much better, hit the golf ball closer to the flag, make way more birdies and pars, and ultimately get good at golf? That's exactly what we're going to help you do in today's video. Guys, my name's James. Welcome back to Get Good at Golf. If you do want to do just that, make sure you do hit that subscribe button and throw a like on this video if you think it's going to help you. So today we've got a 207 yard par 3 and I've got a 5-iron. I want to make sure that I'm going to strike this golf ball as good as I can, because I want to make sure I cover the distance, because ultimately if you hit the golf ball flag high, you're always going to be closer to the flag than if you don't, generally, unless the radius works oppositely. But consistency wise, it's always going to help to be flag high. So first thing we're going to do is make sure we're set up properly. I'm going to make sure that my stance is wide enough for the shaft length of the club we are hitting. This is a 5-iron, playing a little bit downhill, so I should be able to get there with this. If I stand at a 5-iron really narrow, unless I'm trying to play a nice low punchy shot, which we spoke about earlier on this week here at Get Good at Golf, I'm going to lose my balance when I get to the top of the backswing. Maybe not to that extent, but I'm certainly not going to hold the balance I need to be able to create a nice structured, powerful downswing with lots of rotation to get the club head down to the ball. So the first thing you need to do is stand wider or stand wide enough. If you stand overly wide like this is something we have seen in the past, you're going to struggle to rotate, you're not going to get to the top of your backswing, and that's going to hinder your strike and of course how much speed and power you can create. So what is the perfect stance width? For me, with a 5-iron, I want to feel like I'm nice and athletic. I want to feel like my feet are about just kind of short of shoulder width apart, and from there I can sit the club down nicely. If that's correct, I should feel as though I can load up to the top of the backswing nice and consistently and then hold my balance on the way through. You'll see I've hit a nice penetrating shot there towards the left side of the green, and that is running on to the front left edge. From 207 yards, I'm going to take that all day. That's gone flag high, so I know that is the perfect width for me to stand. Now, what about my takeaway? Because I've got the stance width correct, how do I take this club away to make sure that it's one thing, consistent? There's no real right and wrong if you are very, very consistent at what you do and you can repeat it. If you watch the golf on the TV, you will see so many different takeaways, so many different transitions and so many different downswings. One thing they all do is they do it consistently so they can hit the same yardage time after time. For me, I was lucky enough to have a lesson with one of the best golf coaches, well, a couple of them in the world, David Ledbetter and Pete Cowan, and one of the big things I took away from this was to make sure my backswing is structured in a way that I take the club away first, and you'll see how my lower body doesn't move at all here. Then when I get the club parallel to the ground, I can start to integrate my lower body. What that's doing is that's separating my golf swing from upper body and lower body, and that's how you're going to create consistent speed and also generate a nice consistent strike. So I'll integrate that into this second swing, and as you'll see, nice solid stance. I know I'm not going to lose my balance here. I might have a bit of a waggle to start with. This is what David Ledbetter told me to do. Just make sure you feel that movement, and then from there I can hit an even better shot. That one's all over the flag. It was a slightly better strike actually, because I was thinking a lot more. Go on then. Oh, that's nice and close. We'll show you a close-up of that towards the end of this video, but I can feel really, really nice and confidently there that I'm going to repeat that motion time after time after time. So I've got the stance, I've got the takeaway. What about transition? How do I transition from my backswing into the downswing with my irons? It's actually a lot more simple than you might think, because if you've got your takeaway correct and you've separated the lower and the upper body, I get to the top of the backswing, all I do is I reverse that motion. So I now start my downswing from the ground up. I want to move my legs and my hips, then my torso, then my arms, then my hands, then the shaft, then ultimately the club head is last, and I'm projecting that club head onto that golf ball. They're three really easy ways that you can start to hit much more compact iron shots, and Chris has a really good drill for us that can help you do just that. Oh, that was so nice. Beautiful. 3 on the green.
So for us to do exactly what James mentioned there, we need to go through some checkpoints to make sure we're in that correct setup. So James mentioned there obviously about stance width. Yes, that is very important because that's going to control your speed. And a lot of people lose balance because they're trying to get the most distance out of their clubs. If I get a good stance width but still swing out of my boots, I'm not going to have control of that club head. So we want to think that, yes, we want as much speed as possible, but in balance. So like James said, it wasn't swinging 10 out of 10, it was probably closer to 8 out of 10, and he got a better strike, he got it launching lower and towards his target with the desired ball flight. So we've got to think here that when we're over that ball and we've got our stance right, that we want to get to that finish in balance, so as much speed as possible, but in balance. And then James obviously talked about takeaway and transition, and one big thing we saw from James is the consistency that his arms are just underneath his shoulders. So we've not got any kind of, we're not too far away from the golf ball and we're not too close to the golf ball. That's going to affect that takeaway. So if you're somebody who, film yourself up, start to see what is your club doing on that first move in your backswing, because that could be the answer to why you are hitting bad shots. If we can get you feeling like, right, my arms are just hanging naturally under my shoulders, we're going to be able to control that takeaway a little bit better. And from there, that's also going to be the case for obviously transition, because if I'm too far away from the golf ball, what we start to see is that you'll stand up out of that and then maybe go back down and then have to try and rescue it with the hands. Again, if we're too close, we often see people pick that club up, lift up here, and we're starting to lose angles. We're not going to get any consistency. So start to think about it, how can you put that into a drill? For me, a good drill for us to do, if you're a right-handed golfer, is to go the opposite way round with your hands. So it's to have your left hand low, and what it does is helps us really build that backswing. So from here, if I do that, I can start to go, okay, if I move away now, right, that stays in that position, because I really have to roll my hands the opposite way to get it inside, and I'd also have to do a lot of hinging to get that there. What it also helps us do is start to build that backswing, start to get us with that right hand nice and tucked, that left hand nice and strong, and we can see how it's a neutral club face at the top. So we're starting to get a little bit shorter in the backswing, a little bit more compact, we get our weight exactly where we want it. We're on that right hand side now, and you'll start to see, oh, I'm actually quite loaded there, I can now push it off, come down into that downswing, and you'll start to see that we'll get into a nice position. So it's just giving you a feel. You don't want to hit shots like that, so you just want to get the feel in the backswing.
Unless you're Matt Fitzpatrick, he can rip it.
He can rip it with that. But again, maybe if you wanted to do it, do some little chip shots. Can you hit some little chip shots, getting that takeaway better and getting the ball starting straight? Then that's going to really help you set your backswing to allow us to get a better strike. So I would do this here again, just have that swing. That's my takeaway. Up to the top. Yep, I feel strong there. Down into impact, and get into that impact position, start to practice where you want to be, and then from there just come in, go back to your neutral grip, and let's just hit that shot in balance. You'll see there a nice penetrating ball flight, just fading back onto that left hand side of the green, and a nice interaction with the turf. So I've been able to set that backswing a little bit better. I've got my stance, I've swung within myself, and we'll see there that that club, yes, it's a little bit downhill, but has gone a long way. You'll start to see you'll get a better strike on that, a better ball flight, and from not feeling like you're hitting it as hard, it's going to help you hit it a little bit longer and get good at golf.